Ladies and gentlemen, we're about ready to start, so why don't we have our contestants, our students, please come on up, take the stairs right over here behind me, and take your spot. Hopefully you had a chance to see your location. We have moved a couple around, so find your name tag and have a seat and get ready. Feel free to get a high five from your parents on the way by. There we go. Let's get started. Folks, I want to welcome you to the first ever National Civics Bee Finals in the state of Florida. The first ever in the state of Florida. My name is Ted Corcoran from the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce. I want to kind of explain why we're here and what's happening. Seth, let's go to the next slide on the Chamber if you could. If you're not aware, the Chamber of Commerce is the organization in the community that does lots of cool things. We organize the Billy Bowlegs Parade, we work on the bridge, we work on traffic, we work on homelessness, we work on a little bit of everything. We have a Vietnam event coming up. So the Chamber of Commerce is a feel-good organization in a community doing wonderful things. Back to the other thing, if you could, Seth. So in this case, back to number 2, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is the national organization, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, comprised of over 10,000 chambers. And the U.S. Chamber of Commerce mission is to harness the power of business to create solutions for the good of America and the world. So 3 years ago, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce determined that they wanted to create a national civics bee, the opportunity of middle school students to learn about civics and incorporate that information as they move forward in their lives. So this National Civics Bee was created in 2022, just 3 years ago. Their goal is to have all 50 states by 2026, which is America's 250th anniversary. In 2024, just last year, they had 8,000 middle school students from 28 states. This year is the first year that Florida has been invited to participate, and our chamber, our community, was the first chamber, the first community in the state of Florida to raise our hands and say, absolutely, we want to participate in that. And working with the Okaloosa County School District, we're here. We're here, the first one in Florida. I want to share kind of what happens from here. In November of 2024, I think it's important to realize this, in November of 2024, they had the first national championship in Washington, D.C. A 14-year-old, Emily, from Anchorage, Alaska, won, and parents, she won a $100,000 education savings account. $100,000 education savings account. So this is the first year in Florida. There's 3 communities that are participating: Jacksonville, Osceola, and Okaloosa County. Now, it's fair to understand that there were several other communities, such as Sarasota and others, that raised their hand and said, yes, we'd like to participate, but they could not get enough entries. So there's 3, which means tonight, people, the top 3 of you will be invited to attend the Florida State Finals on Saturday, May 31st in Tallahassee. State Finals. At that finals, there'll only be 9 contestants because there's 3 chambers of commerce, top 3, 9 contestants in the state of Florida for the first year, and one of those 9 is going to go to the national championship in Washington, D.C. Over Veterans Day weekend in November. And we would like it to be someone from Okaloosa County, wouldn't we, David Delliman? Yes, we would. We absolutely would love that. So that's kind of a feeling for what's happening. That's what we have it happening here today. So let me do this. So that's what a Chamber of Commerce is. For those who understand how things like this work, you need sponsors. You need folks like Eglin Federal Credit Union, which has Teddy and Jerry Williams out there, who are the official sponsor of this event, that raised their hand and said, yes, this is important to us. Cox is in charge of our technology. We'll hear from David on that capacity. Chesser and Barr, one of the local attorneys, also said, Danny O'Rourke said, yes, I absolutely want to participate. Mitzi Henley from Sport Clips said, I would like to participate also. So those are some of our sponsors. And ironically, that's in line with our judges as one of the sponsorship opportunities. Teddy, who's right here at Eglin Federal Credit Union, she's the financial education specialist. She's one of our judges for round 3. David Delliman, that cool guy right there, is like the guy in charge of Cox. That's just the easiest thing to remember. You just remember, you say, I saw the guy who's in charge of Cox. He's the guy that brings my internet, he brings my cable, he brings my cell service. He's the guy. right there. Next to him over to the side is Daniel O'Rourke, perhaps one of the best dressed Daniel O'Rourke here today. He is the attorney and mediator at Chesser and Barr, which is a legal firm here in town. And down at the end, our good friend David Triana, who owns Conexion. He does just lots of good things. He's arguably one of the most, I'm coming back to you, Mitzi, don't worry, I'm coming back, I'm saving Mitzi to the end. So we have him, and then, so that's David, and then Mitzi Henley, she owns Sports Clips, she just does everything. Mitzi has been she's in the Okaloosa County Women's Hall of Fame, which we're very proud of you for that, my friend, and involved in lots of things. So those are your 5 judges that will be participating in the round 3. So now we're going to introduce our contestants as they look at themselves on the picture that they submitted to us here today. We're kind enough that they filled out a little highlight, and I thought it'd be a good time to review the highlights. So we're going to start right here with Addison from the Northwest Florida Ballet Academy. Her favorite subject is math. That'll help here in this case. Favorite food is pasta, and she wants to be a professional ballerina. And by the way, if you're not aware, I also give lessons in ballet, so I'll be happy to help you on that. So that's that. And right next to her, let me turn here just for a second here, is Anna Mae. Anna Mae is also from the Northwest Florida Ballet Academy. Her favorite subject is math also. Favorite food, Kit Kats. And whose isn't? Come on now. Kit Kats? Well done on that, my friend. And her dream job, Bones Henley from the school board, detective. Yes. Now that's cool. So some of the things you'll learn today may help you with that. Next to her is Ariana, also from the Northwest Florida Ballet Academy. Favorite subject is English. I do not have a favorite food. All right, then, well, maybe today would be Zaxby's if you had a chance for that. Zaxby's might be, and Zaxby's was the official food sponsor of today's event, so perhaps Zaxby's might be, and you'd like to be a writer. So we're happy to have you there. Great photo of yourself. There we go. Coming up, Audrey. Audrey is from Ruckle. Nice to have Audrey here today. Favorite hobby is swimming. Favorite food is fish. And her dream job is vet. So, very nice. Very good. We're very proud of you for that, Audrey. Thank you. Bella is next. Bella from Pryor also. Another favorite subject, math. Favorite hobbies, gymnastics, flag football. And dream job, ultrasound tech. R.J. Murdoch in the back from ECTV might need somebody to come along work for you. So we have right there, Bella can come and work with R.J. in the back and do this for us. Delilah is right down from you there. Again, Northwest Florida Ballet Academy. Enjoys ballet and dance. Her favorite food is pasta. And she would like to be a lawyer ballerina. Now, Danny O'Rourke, you are also a lawyer and ballerina, are you not? I thought you were. So right here, you have an option of finding a gentleman right there that you could emulate as one of our judges. Next is Catalina. Catalina, have we turned back? No, we haven't got around the corner yet. From Pryor, flag football, volleyball, favorite food, crab legs. Let's have crab legs next year, Rochelle, for this if we could. That would be good. Everyone would love that. And marine biologist. Marine biologist, certainly, which is a good thing. For those of you who have seen Seinfeld, if you ever saw the Seinfeld with marine biologists, you'll know that. So you never know. Some people have seen that, which I'm glad you have. All right. Kaya still? Okay, so Kaya is from Ruckle. I'm thank you. Thank you for that. Again, parents, if I mispronounce your name, I'm just a volunteer here, so I apologize. Please yell it out. Come over here, whisper in my ear. I do not want to mispronounce your child's name. So Kai, thank you. Ruckle Middle School, favorite subjects is history, like soccer, orange chicken. I love orange chicken too. And then a fighter pilot. We have some great aspirations for jobs here, which is really, really cool. Now we're going to go in the second row. Lila's in the back from Northwest Florida Ballet Academy. She likes to dance, she likes sushi, and she would like to be a professional dancer or a special education teacher, which is very good. All right then. Luna's right in the back next to you. How are we looking on the pictures? Oh, I forgot, we have a couple people missed, right? Evelyn and Farrah were not here. Catalina. I forgot to see Catalina. We had a picture of Catalina on the beach. She decided to submit a picture of her on the beach with some really cool glasses, and that's that picture there. So Kai is right there, Lila, and now Luna, favorite subject math, favorite hobby is ballet, favorite food pizza. I was hoping someone would do that because that's mine also, Luna, thank you for that. And also professional ballerina. All right, continuing on. We have Natalie from the Northwest Florida Ballet Academy. Again, math, reading, ballet, favorite food pasta, forensic scientist. Wow, These are some really, Mitzi, these are some folks that have some great aspirations. So forensic scientist, Noah is here with the tie, no less. Well done on the tie, my friend. That's a good, I may need to borrow that sometime because I think this is the only tie I actually have. So if it's all right, I'd like to borrow that from you. From Destin Middle School, I love to play sports and go fishing. Favorite food is steak, and a professional athlete. All right, Noah, well, that's cool for that. Samantha's right next to you. Samantha, again, from the Ballet Academy. Favorite hobby, ballet. Favorite food, stir fry. Again, another marine biologist, which is cool. And then, certainly last but not least, of course, Scarlett is there. Science, her favorite hobbies are reading, anything pasta, and a biologist. So, my friends, you can see here we have a very distinguished group of folks who are here today. Students, I'm so honored that you could take the time to do the essay, to turn it in, just so you know. There were several dozen essays that were submitted. We had some judges, like our friend Jerry Williams, who went through them, and they chose the top 16, of which you're here. I'm sorry to say 2 people, Debbie, right, 2 did not make it. 2 did not make it, so we're down to 14. So let me read now, if I could, my friends, the instructions for this event. Before we get started, I want to make sure that all students have your personal devices, cell phones, smartwatches, etc., have been not allowed on the stage. Everyone good on that? All right. All right. Will you get that, Rochelle, just in case? If you haven't already, hand that over. We will hold that for you, which is cool. Today's competition will include 3 rounds. In the first 2 rounds, finalists will answer civics-based quiz questions. Each finalist will answer the same multiple-choice questions within the allotted time. Each question and answer option will be read aloud by myself. The 30-second timer will not start until after I have finished reading the question and the answer options. Each correct answer will receive 1 point. Incorrect answers and answers not submitted before the time runs out receive 0 points. So the point is, since you will not lose points for an incorrect response, do something. We encourage you to take your best guess and answer each question. Once you have selected an answer to the question, you can't change it. That answer is final. You may not return. So think about it, answer it, and then you're locked in. At the ends of round 1 and 2, we'll display the leaderboard on the screen, and you'll be able to see what students are in the lead. The 5 finalists with the highest scores at the end of round 2 will advance to round 3. If there is a tie for the 5th place, I will announce a tiebreaker round of questions. Only the students who have tied for 5th place will answer those questions, and we'll address that more if that occurs. At the end of the tiebreaker, I'll announce the finalists. And then students during the quiz rounds, if you have technical issues, very important here, if you have technical issues or anything goes wrong at any time, please raise your hand immediately. Our friend down here, Seth Luttrell, is in charge of that. We want you to raise your hand immediately in case you're having any technical issues. We know everyone will participate with integrity. It says here, students, please keep your eyes on your own tablets. Are we ready? Seth Luttrell, are we ready? We're good? All right, Rochelle has given this to my friends. I'm going to read the question. You're going to have it on your card there, et cetera, your pad, and you're going to answer accordingly. Here we go. Seth Luttrell. Here we go. Question number 1. Who demonstrated civic virtue by serving as the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War and then surrendering power? Is it A, Thomas Jefferson, B, George Washington, C, Henry Knox, D, Benjamin Franklin? 30 seconds. And the answer is B, or in this case, George Washington. George Washington, question number 1. Moving on to question number 2. Where can the president's power to issue an executive order found in the Constitution? A, Article 4, B, Article 1, C, Article 2, D, Article 3. The answer is Article 2. C, Article 2. Moving on. According to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, what right do U.S. citizens have regarding elections? A, right to vote in elections for public office officials. B, right to veto elected officials' decisions. C, right to elect Supreme Court justices. D, right to be fairly represented by elected officials. And there we go. The answer to number 3 is A, right to vote in elections for public officials. Turning on to number 4. Who was not afraid to confront the ugly truths that existed within American society and began teaching and writing to end the horrific crime of lynchings in America? A, Mary Church Terrell. B, Ida B. Wells. C, Susan B. Anthony. D, Sojourner Truth. And the answer to number 4 is B, Ida B. Wells. Moving on to number 5. What type of speech includes nonverbal visible signs? A, eternal speech. B, non-constitutional speech. C, dissent. D, symbolic speech. All right, that looks like we got that one. And the answer is D, symbolic speech. Answer number 5. Moving on to number 6. Which of the following best describes the system of government under the Articles of Confederation? A, the colonies maintained unity because it created a strong national government. B, the colonies joined together in a loose alliance and friendship, but conflict between the states meant that there was never true unity. C, the colonies were entirely separate from each other, operating as separate, distinct countries. And D, the colonies were generally independent, but still stayed as part of the British Empire regarding foreign policy. And the answer to number 6 is the colonies joined together in a loose alliance and friendship, but conflict between the states meant there was never true unity. Moving on to number 7. Which country has a parliamentary government? A, India. B, Mexico. C, United States. D, France. And the answer to number 7 is A, India. Question number 8. The First Continental Congress resolved that the colonists had the right to being tried by their peers. Where did this idea later appear within the Bill of Rights? A, this later appeared in the First Amendment. This later appeared in the Sixth Amendment. This later appeared in the Ninth Amendment. Or this later appeared in the Third Amendment. And the answer to number 8 is B, this later appeared in the Sixth Amendment. Number 9, which of the following assessments best captures the framers' approach to establishing a functional government? A, the framers exclusively endorsed a direct democracy, believing that immediate public participation in decision-making would safeguard liberty and prevent tyranny. B, they recognized multiple forms of republicanism, such as classical, liberal, and mixed government, and synthesized these ideas to create a representative democracy that balances popular sovereignty with institutional checks. The framers were entirely influenced by the ancient Rome and Greece, resulting in a rigid structure that limits adaptability to modern political dynamics and the complexities of governments. And D, their understanding of republicanism emphasized a singular approach focused on elite governance, disregarding the role of ordinary citizens in shaping policy and law. All right, my friends, we gave you a little more time on that one because it's so long. The answer is number 9. Is B. The answer is B. They recognize multiple forms of republicanism, such as classical, liberal, and mixed government, and synthesize these ideas to create a representative democracy that balances popular sovereignty with institutional checks. That would be the answer to 9. We all good? And on to 10. Who worked for equal rights with the National Equal Rights League and called for President Woodrow Wilson to put an end to discriminatory hiring practices for government jobs? A. W.E.B. Du Bois. B. Ida B. Wells. C. Harriet Tubman. D. Mary Church Terrell. Question number 10. And the answer to number 10 is B. Ida B. Wells. And that, my friends, is the end of round 1. Do we have a leaderboard? And we want to thank Cox for that, leaderboard. End of round 1. I want to thank Catherine Card, who's sitting out here, for helping organize this, do all the classes, et cetera. Again, I want to thank our school board member, Hindley, for coming here today. It's been a lot of work to get this together, and it's really fun, and it's so fun to have it actually coming to fruition here right now. So, round 2. Contestants, you ready for round 2? Here we go. Number 11, which amendment protects against cruel and unusual punishment? A, 4th Amendment, B, 5th Amendment, C, 6th Amendment, D, 8th Amendment. And the answer to number 11 is D, 8th Amendment. Question number 12. Under the Alien and Sedition Acts, immigrants had to live in the U.S. for how many years before voting? A, 15, B, 12, C, 14, D, 10. Alrighty, and the answer to number 12 is C, 14. Question number 13. During the final days of congressional session, a bill is sent to the president. If the president does not sign the bill and Congress adjourns within 10 days, what happens to the bill? A, the bill automatically becomes law since it was not signed. B, the bill is sent back to Congress for further consideration. C, the president's inaction results in a pocket veto and the bill does not become law. Or D, the bill is temporarily shelved and can be revisited in the next session of Congress. And the answer to number 13 is C. The president's inaction results in a pocket veto and the bill does not become law. Question number 14. Article 1 of the Constitution states that members of the Senate are elected how often? A, every 2 years. B, every 4 years. C, every 6 years. D, every 8 years. And the answer to number 14 is C, every 6 years. Question number 15. What power was President Truman using when he signed Executive Order 9981 to desegregate the military? A, power to enforce the Constitution. B, power as Commander-in-Chief. C, power as head of state. And D, power as chief legislator. And the answer to number 15 is B, power as Commander-in-Chief. Question 16. Which of the following actions was specifically prohibited by the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890? A, engaging in price-fixing agreements between competitors. B, establishing labor unions to negotiate wages. C, creating state-level regulations on business practices. And D, offering discounts to consumers for bulk purchases. And the answer is A, engaging in price-fixing agreements between competitors. Question 17. Which of the following is not a limit on judicial power? A, the ability to interpret laws. B, the requirement for cases to involve actual disputes. C, the prohibition on reviewing political questions. And D, the ability to initiate investigations. And the answer to number 17 is D, the ability to initiate investigations. Number 18, in his address to the Young Men's Lyceum of Illinois, Lincoln warns against the rise of towering genius. What does Lincoln mean by this term, and why does he see it as a threat to the nation? A military leader who might overthrow civilian government during times of crisis. B, a charismatic individual who seeks personal glory by dismantling democratic institutions. C, a foreign diplomat who manipulates internal divisions for international gain. Or D, a political reformer who challenges traditional interpretations of the Constitution. And the answer to number 18, as Lincoln tells us, a towering genius, a charismatic individual who seeks personal glory by dismantling democratic institutions. Question number 19, who was eligible for naturalization under the Naturalization Act of 1790? A, anyone born outside the U.S. B, Native Americans. C, free whites of good character. D, enslaved persons who were freed. So the answer to that was C, free whites of good character. And the last question, question number 20. Who demonstrated civic virtue by establishing a fire department in Philadelphia? A, John Jay. B, Patrick Henry. C, Benjamin Franklin. D, Alexander Hamilton. As amazing as it may be, that's the end of the second round. Should I explain the talking points for round 3? Let me do that. Let me get a feel for this while we're tallying up the leadership capacity here. So the next round, what happens is the top 5 from this list here, when we show the leaderboard, will be selected. We're all going to leave here in just a second. You're going to go down there, and Debbie Dodge. Debbie, you have the thing, so the top 5 names. We'll be giving your note cards as prep. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then ultimately we're going to call you back in order 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then each finalist will share a 3-sentence summary of their essay using the 4x6 note cards. I'll review this again, and then that's when the judges will participate. You'll ask some questions, and so on and so forth. So I'll fill you in a little bit more on that in just a second. Are we good? And now let's see if we might need a tiebreaker. Here is the leaderboard. And there we have it. So we have looks like we have a big tie on number, so we have Ariana, Noah, and Adeline, right? Adeline? Addison, I'm sorry, Addison, right? I even have glasses and I can't see that. And then we have a tie on 4th place. All right, so we have a tiebreaker, obviously, my friends. And here's what will happen is, numbers 4, Anna Mae, Scarlett, Lila, and Kaya are going to stay up here. And in this case, Ariana, Noah, and Addison, you are in the top 5. And of the next 4, we're going to have a tiebreaker, 3 questions. And we're going to see how that outcome is. That's where it's going to land. Okay, then, so here's what we're going to do, my friends. Everyone's going to leave except for the people on number 11. We're going to have Anna Mae, Scarlett, Lila, and Kaya. You're going to stay. The other folks can take a break. You can have an audience. You're here in the 2nd row if you'd like, or you can fill in the front row. Sit next to Brett Hindley. That's always a fun thing. And the 4 people who are in the tying round, we're going to ask you 3 questions, right? At the end, in this case here, if there's an additional tie, the concept of who answered the question the fastest will be the tiebreaker at the end. So we have, all right, so therefore it behooves you in this case to answer the question quickly, because that'll be the second tiebreaker if that's the case. So in this case, we'll see 3 questions. And then again, if there's a tie on that one, it'll be based on who answered the questions the quickest. Here we go, question number 21. How did the debate about whether the executive should be a council or singular individual highlight differing views on the dangers of tyranny and the effectiveness of government? A, supporters of a single executive feared that a council would become too powerful and would collude with Congress to create an unaccountable ruling class, while opponents argued that a single executive would be too weak to stand up to the legislative overreach. B, those favoring a council believe that multiple leaders would ensure a more balanced government and prevent military dictatorships, while proponents of a single executive wanted someone in power who could actually unilaterally during economic downturns. C, advocates for a plural executive argued that dividing executive power among several individuals would prevent tyranny, while opponents believed that a single executive would be more accountable to the people and capable of decisive action. And D, those that wanted to adopt a plural executive believed that having a multiple executives would mean that they could band together to override Congress during times of difficulty, while supporters of a single executive believed. And the answer to number 21 is advocates for a plural executive argued that dividing executive power among several individuals would prevent tyranny, while opponents believe that a single executive would be more accountable to the people and capable of decisive action. Second of 3 overtime questions here are, what is the dissenting opinion in Lochner versus New York in 1905 claimed the state had a right to interfere with? A, executive privilege. B, liberty of contract. C, term limits. D, free exercise of religion. The answer to number 22 is B, liberty of contract. Last question on the tiebreaker is question number 23. What was the most immediate effect of President Andrew Johnson's veto of the Civil Rights Act? A, Congress remained in a gridlock and no civil rights legislation was passed for another 100 years. B, Congress overrode the president's veto and passed the Civil Rights Act. C, Congress and President Johnson worked together to propose the 14th Amendment. And D, Congress pressured President Johnson to overturn his veto. And the answer to 23 is B, Congress overrode the president's veto and passed the Civil Rights Act. That is the conclusion of our tiebreaker. We'll now look at the leaderboard and see if we have. So again, folks, it looks like they all answered them correctly. Is that what I'm saying? And then now it's based on how quickly they made that decision to be the final decision on seats number 4 and 5 on the top 5. So the winners of the category are Anime and Lila. Anime and Lila would be your 4 and 5 in this case. So we will now ask, you can all take a break, about a 5-minute break, go get a soft drink, talk to your family, and then we will be bringing up in 5 minutes, we'll be announcing the overview of round 3 and bringing up the 5 candidates. Make certain students, please do not leave. All contestants, please do not leave. We have certificates and such for everybody. 5-minute break.
When connection is needed most, Cox is there to help. When families depend on affordable internet, we support them. When teachers need more than a pat on the back, we invest in them. And when seniors need connection during isolation, we roll up our sleeves.
This is Elvin. I'm a volunteer for Cox. I'm calling to see how you're doing today.
When students need the tools to succeed, we empower them. When people on the spectrum need video chat that's built for them, we invent it.
Every time your expression changes. It's really cool.
And when veterans need a company who serves them, they can count on Cox. Whenever and wherever it matters most, we'll be there.
Do you want to advertise to thousands of Hispanics and non-Hispanics in Northwest Florida, and Southern Alabama?
¿Quieres promover tu empresa y producto a miles de hispanos y no hispanos?
Connection is your most cost-efficient way to do so.
Conexión es tu solución.
Conexión is your bridge to connect you to the growing Hispanic market in the region. Call us.
Llámanos.
All right, my friends, let's begin. Round three, I'm going to ask our 5 finalists to be right here. We have Ariana, we have Noah, we have Addison, we have Anna Mae, and we have Lila. We're going to ask those folks to sit right here in the front row, as close to Bones Heinley as you possibly can get. There we go, my friends. Thank you. I want to verify that you've been given your note cards from our friend Debbie, or somebody has given you the note cards, right? I'm just going to read what it says here. I'm going to ask the finalists and judges if everyone is ready, and then I'll call the finalists one at a time to approach this microphone right here and deliver your summary. I will call you in the order you placed at the end of round 2, so 5th place going first, then 4th, 3rd, 2, and 1. Each finalist will share a 3-sentence summary of their essay using the 4x6 note card that they brought as their prep. Each finalist will then have a chance to answer questions from those 5 judges right over there, and you have 3 minutes to answer each question, and there will be an opportunity of 3 questions per student from their judges. The judges will evaluate the finalists based on how well they show an understanding of civic principles, answer the judges' questions clearly and effectively, and use specific examples, evidence, and primary sources to support their answers. At the end of round 3, the judges will add their scores to the finalist totals from rounds 1 and 2 to calculate a cumulative score for each finalist. If a tiebreaker is needed at the end of round 3, the event judges will rank the students in order and majority rules. The finalists with the 3 highest cumulative scores will be named first, second, and third place winners. And then all finalists today will receive some trophies and some cash and some money, etc. So when you come up here, I'm going to make certain that we move this microphone, and I just want you to be comfortable. I think I should actually turn it a little bit so we're facing you guys, right? Should I turn it like this? Let's do that. So I'm going to make certain that you are comfortable with this microphone, that is somewhere here, not here, and you'll address our judges and our group. Is this a good angle? We good with this? All right. So Lila, if you'll start off, you're our 5th place person, my friend. You're going to come up. Get that microphone for you down here. Can you see those folks over there?
Yes, sir.
You good? All right, so get close to the mic. Just say hello to them first.
Hello.
Can you hear?
My paper was about better school lunches and public schools. My civic virtues were justice and respect. My founding principles were majority rule and consent of the governed, and how public school lunches aren't good for growing children and students who need to focus during school and succeed.
Questions from the judges.
Okay, What role could you see local businesses possibly play in your solution?
I think that the school district and the school board and parental figures could help with this problem and issue by contacting the food services that provide their child school lunches.
Thank you for that. If we were able to get better school lunches, what do you think the results would be in terms of measurement and results for our school district?
Well, I think that school lunches are very important for focusing and test scores. And during my research, I found that food during the day and lunches help because it releases something in your brain called hippocampus, which helps with mood and attention and memory. And I've lived overseas and I've seen their school lunches and they're so much better. And then you compare it to their test scores and they're so much higher and the students succeed much more. So I think better school lunches will help with just overall succeeding in your classes.
How do you see your solution as promoting majority rule and consent of the governed?
I chose consent of the governed and majority rule because consent of the governed, we have consent and we are able to say that we want this and ask for this, and then majority rule because hopefully if majority rules for this issue to be solved and resolved, then it will make a change.
And those, my friends, are the three questions. Lila, congratulations, my friend. Come back over here. Congratulations. There we go, Lila, congratulations on that. Next up, Anna Mae from the Ballet Academy. Anna Mae, we're going to check to make sure that microphone is at the right level. Anna Mae, you got it? Let's move it up just tight. There you go.
Hi. So, my essay was about how we need more sidewalks in the city for things like safety, mobility, and just help with your community. My founding principle was consent of the governed, and I have the civic virtue responsibility.
So picture you're having a conversation with a 12-year-old child in China who knows nothing about American government, how it's structured. How would you explain this issue to them and why it's important?
I would say that when they would need to either walk to a bus stop or something, when they go along the side of the road, they would need a sidewalk, so either they don't get hit or just for safety in general, because a lot of kids walk to school like them. And yeah, I think just to tell them it'll help with the community, maybe get them and their friends easier to buses without needing to get your parents to drive you to an actual bus stop or to school. So yeah.
What are some ways you think that you and children of your age can convince city leaders that sidewalks are needed in your particular neighborhood?
Well, since a lot of people have kids, it's safer to let people go, use sidewalks, and also since a lot of people do runs or need to walk around through the city because of bad traffic and stuff, it would be just better in general for the community. Also, when building them, you need to ask them. So, yeah.
Hi, Anna Mae.
Hi.
I would like for you to tell us a little more about when you were writing your essay. Did you experience anything personally that motivated you to write this essay? Any personal experience that you would want to share with homeowners and residents so that they would support you in your efforts to get more sidewalks?
Since I don't have to go on a bus yet, when I do, since I have a little bit of like health problems when it comes to like walking around and things, it would just be easier to go on like either a sidewalk just to, instead of having to walk through grass or something, or like a actual solid road when it's like less safe. That would be better. And also when people have to cross the road and like throughout the actual city, they most of the time walk along the side of the road too, and it can scare people who are driving around, and it just be safer in general.
All right, Anna Mae, congratulations from the Ballet Academy. Michelle's going to take your picture. Did anyone bring Kit Kats for her now that she can have it? Does anyone have any Kit Kats, which is her favorite food? Anna Mae, you can go down and have a break, my friend. Well done. Congratulations. Judges, all good? Ready for the next candidate, Teddy? All right. Number 3 from the Ballet Academy, Addison.
Hi. My name's Addison, and my essay is on how substance abuse affects the mental health of teens. And I based my essay on the civic principle, equality, and the civic virtue, responsibility, because I believe that it's my responsibility to help people get equal care no matter what they're going through. And to help solve this issue in my community, I would set up an app where students can leave their phone number and what they're struggling with, and a licensed professional can help them and give them advice, and their identities would stay anonymous unless an emergency.
What was the source for your statistics in your essay?
I don't remember the exact one, but I used a lot of resources like from high schools and just national statistics. I don't remember the exact one.
Hi, Addison. I'd like to know, you picked the virtue of equality. So in your studies of civics, was there something that motivated you, a person or a situation that inspired you to write this essay on equality?
There's not a specific person, but just I've seen a lot of students having to feel like they need to turn to drugs because they don't have the resources to get help from other people, so they often feel alone, and like that's the only way they can turn to.
Great job. Your essay is wonderful. Of the 5 civic virtues, which one is the most important to you?
I would definitely say responsibility, because I feel like everyone should be accountable for themselves, and they should really just, yeah. Sorry.
All right then, Addison. Well done. Hold on. We gotta get Rochelle, our scurrying photographer, has to get the photographer behind the podium. This is a panoramic image of Addison behind the podium, obviously. Well done, my friend. You can take a break. Now from Destin Middle School, Noah.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Noah, and I wrote my essay on the issue of trash on Destin's beaches, which is harmful for our marine life, our ecosystem, and our economy. Some ways I feel that I could advocate for this issue are I could post on social media outlets about the effects of this trash, and I could ask local law enforcement to more strictly enforce the fines, especially during the high season. And then I could also go to city council meetings and ask them to increase the number of trash receptacles that are on the beach so that it's more convenient for beachgoers to throw away their trash instead of throwing it on the ground. I use the civic principles of freedom of speech and due process of law, and I use the civic virtues of respect, responsibility, and courage.
Hi, Noah.
Hey, how's it going?
I would like for you to vision yourself in the office of the mayor of Destin. When you walk in, please share with us how would you gain his support to help you reduce littering and protect our marine life?
So I would go to our local wildlife refuge and I would get information on how many animals they have helped that have been harmed from this litter on the beach. And I would take that information and I would go to our mayor and I would explain to him how this is hurting our marine life. And then also our beaches are a really big source of our economy. So I would explain to him how the trash on our beach could make it less appealing for tourists to come to our beaches. Because I was lucky enough to be able to go to Vietnam over Christmas break. And we went to Da Nang where they have a lot of beaches. But when we went to go to the beach to try and go swimming, there was so much trash in the water we didn't even want to get in. So I just really didn't want Destin to turn into something like that.
All right, thank you very much. If you were the mayor of Destin, what would you do?
I would increase the number of trash receptacles we have on the beach, like I said earlier. And then I would also go to the wildlife refuge and get information, and I would put that on signage that I would dispersed throughout Destin, and I would put it in the beach parking lot so that tourists and people that live in Destin would know how harmful this is to our marine life. And then I would also go to the local businesses and promote the idea of how important it is for their economy that we have clean beaches and our marine life is sustainable for our fisheries, so that I could get sponsorships or things from them to convince people to come out and help with beach cleanups and stop littering and things like that.
Hello, Noah.
Hey.
Suppose you were granted $5,000. How would you allocate those funds in implementing the solution you explained?
So I would take the money to buy the trash receptacles, obviously, to put on the beach. I would take it to create the signage and place that throughout Destin. I would have educational seminars and maybe a program at school or something to teach people about the effects of this trash. And I would try to get community service hours to convince students that are trying to get Bright Future scholarships to come out and help with our beach cleanups.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There he is, my friends. Noah from Destin Middle School. Well done. Hold on, you got to get back home. We've Rochelle taking the photo. And David, to your point about Noah being the mayor, he's not a whole lot younger than the mayor of Destin right now. For those who know, Bobby Wagner, one of the youngest mayors in the whole state of Florida. We're very honored. Judges, you ready for our last contestant? Folks, Ariana from Ballet Academy.
Hi. My paper was about homelessness in the community. My founding principle was equality, and my civic virtues were responsibility and moderation.
What was the most surprising fact you learned during your research, and how did this impact your solution?
Well, I know that there was a lot of homelessness in the world, but I didn't think there was I didn't think there was so much. So that was basically the biggest thing that surprised me.
Thank you. If homelessness is not addressed in our community in the way you propose, what do you think the long-term consequences are going to be?
It's just, I think that it's going to be, if we don't solve the problem, like short term, I think that there's going to be more people going through the same situation, and that would just make the community scared, nervous, and I don't want that to happen to people.
How does your proposal fit into the definition of equality as a civic virtue or founding principle?
I used the civic virtue of equality in my paper because everybody deserves an equal chance at life, and people going through that situation, they need to be equal as the rest of us. So I believe that that's a really big part of the issue.
And there we have it, Ariana. Rochelle, don't leave yet. Rochelle's going to take your photo, as you know. Yes, she is. All right, Ariana, congratulations to you, my friend. And there we have it. That is the conclusion of round 3. While our judges are tabulating the results, I'm going to ask, right now would be a good time, I'm going to ask all of the students to come up, line up. If you could, we're going to issue you a certificate. So not only just the 5, but all 14 of the students who arrived today, ideally in the alphabetical order of name, if you could. And then, here we go. And then who's got the, Debbie, do you have those certificates? All right, Rochelle has them, there we go. So we'll do it in order. We got, let's just go in order if we could from before. Let me just rattle that off. If we could. And then I'm going to ask Teddy and David Delleman to come on up to be in the photo. Folks, when you have your photo taken with these 2 individuals, you're going to be posting this all around the world to have these distinguished guests. So we have Addison, Anna Mae, Ariana, Audrey, Bella, Delilah, Catalina, Kai, Lila, Luna, Natalie, Noah, Samantha, Scarlett. What will happen is our friend Rochelle will issue you the certificate. We'll ask him to, what we'll do is we'll have him step up. Let's have him step up 1 step, and then David and Teddy will be there as they present. Here we go. So Rochelle will kind of organize them like a class photo. And then who's taking the pictures? Dana? Okay, Seth will take the photos now that here we go. So we'll take one group photo of the group here with our friend, again, David Delleman, sponsor of the technology, and of course, Teddy from Eglin Federal Credit Union as the official title sponsor of this incredible event. I want to thank again Teddy, Yellow Bear Baskin, David Delleman, Mitzi Henley, Daniel O'Rourke, and David Triana as our judges, a very challenging judges capacity. And now Rochelle we'll have the one student step up and then in place, right? Is that what we'll do? Let's have them step up so David and Teddy can be on either side, right? So just step up forward. Seth, kind of organize them there. Yeah, bring them to the front like that. There we go. So Teddy and David on one side, they'll get between you. There you go, there you go, there we go. Teddy on one side, David on the other side. There we have it, now we got it. All right, so again, we want to thank our friend Addison from Northwest Florida Ballet Academy. There's your certificate. Don't leave, there we go, Addison, you go back to your spot. Next up, Anna Mae from the Northwest Florida Ballet Academy, the picture with Teddy and David, the fabulous sponsors of this great event. Next up, Ariana from the Ballet Academy with Teddy and David. Just fantastic. Thank you, Seth. Audrey from Ruckle. Audrey from Ruckle. All right then, congratulations. Bella from Pryor Middle School. There we have it. Delilah from the Ballet Academy. Catalina from Pryor Middle School. There we go. Kai from Ruckle. There we go. Kai from Ruckle. Lila from the Ballet Academy. Luna from the Ballet Academy. Natalie from the Ballet Academy. Noah from Destin Middle School. Push them out of the way. Yes, you need to. Samantha from the Ballet Academy. There we have it. And Scarlett from the Ballet Academy. Well done, my friends. Well done, well done. Thank you, Teddy and David. I want to ask, so we're also going to give you on the way out, we have a kind of a cool bag of swag, as it's called. A bag of swag is when you attend events, and we'll hand that to you on the way out for each contestant. But our good friend David Delleman from Cox, who is the technology sponsor, said to me, hey, I have a little idea I'd like to share with the group. David, would you like to take that microphone and explain it?
Yeah, thank you so much. Cox is very proud to be the technology provider for the Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce and proud to be the technology sponsor for this event. So we have something very special for you today. You know, you were all up here, had a chance to put in all your answers via the iPad. Every single one of you finalists who is here today gets to go home with that iPad. That is yours to take home, courtesy of Cox. You guys are all super impressive. We were sitting here at the judges' table thinking we couldn't answer half these questions. You're doing great work, so keep it up, and hopefully this helps you continue your education.
Well done, Mr. So I want to thank David Delleman for that great treat. I just want to share one observation, and that would be this. We, as a chamber, will be taking those with us today because we have to scrub them clean. And you'll stop by on Friday at the Chamber of Commerce. Each one has your name on it. And you'll stop by on Friday or sometime next week. The Chamber of Commerce is on Highway 98. Parents, you all know where it is, of course. If not, just Google it. And you'll stop by Friday, 9 to about noon. We'll be going home early on Friday. After this, we'll be going home early. But next week, we're open 9 to 5, so anytime next week, stop by the chamber. We'll have your pad for your child, which is really cool. I want to thank David Delleman for that. I want to thank again Teddy from Eglin Federal Credit Union, Danny O'Rourke for Chester and Bar, our good friend Mitzi Henley from Sport Clips, and David Triana from Connexion, et cetera, for the obviously incredibly hard challenge of picking the judges. Do we have the winners? We do have the winners right here. All right, so I am just going to announce the third place, second place, and first place. And again, I want to remind everyone, today you'll come up front. Who are they having a picture taken with? They're going to have a picture taken with Teddy again because of Eglin Federal Credit Union. Who else is in the picture? Am I in the picture? I'm in the picture? Okay, I'm in the picture. All right, so I'll come down there and do it then. So again, I want to remind everyone, the winners, the top three here, that they'll be contacted either via Rochelle or the Florida. It's actually based out of FSU. FSU has a division of their leadership that will be in charge of that final on Saturday, May 31st. And you'll have all the information about where to go and where to show up and things along those lines. So let me see if this mic is working. Here we go. All right, Teddy, I'm coming down there with you. So I'll come down and we're going to bring up now in third place. Will you take that if you don't mind? Oh, we got to do this up here. We get this. Yeah. So we have the script. You have the big check. Don't you show it yet? Don't show it yet. We have the big check, and we have a trophy, and we have a check somewhere, right? Somewhere here. So, in third place, everyone, Ariana. Come on up. Come on over here. You're gonna stand right here. You're gonna grab that check from Miss Teddy there. You're going to face the camera with a smile of delight and say, cool, I got $125. Mom, what can I buy with it? All right, then, congratulations. Take that with you. The check is where? Rochelle, where's the check? The check is, they'll get the check afterwards?
I need to know if I'm making a check payable to the child or the parent, and I have a W-9, but I do have checks.
So we have the real check, so parents, if you'll come up afterwards, we'll take care of that. Again, so in this place, thank you for the tip on moving the microphone from my face. Thank you for that, it's very kind. I knew you were here for that. All right, thank you. So here we have it. In second place, Addison. $250. You're taking the check with you, right? You take the check with you, don't they? Do they take the check with them too? Put it in your room. I think your parents should be allowed to use nails to tack it on your wall. Just home, nail, and boom, put it right up on the wall. So congratulations to Addison. And now the first place winner who will receive $500. $500. Again, we had $125, $250, et cetera. And that would be the next mayor of Destin, the one and only Noah from Destin Middle School. All right, my friends. Noah, take that with you. Take this too, my friend. Noah, take this. You got to take this. You got to take this, my friend. So on behalf of the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce, we're honored that you could participate here with us in the first ever national finals in the state of Florida. Worked through some kinks. I hope you all found it as enjoyable as we did. We want to thank our sponsors that helped out so dramatically with that. I want to remind the parents that the top three here, come on up, and Rochelle is our check lady. She'll have you fill out some paperwork, et cetera. The top three are going to be contacted by somebody in FSU, or somebody's going to contact them about that. We're going to wish you the best. You're going to win. 3 of you are going to win in Florida on May 31st, and then you're going to go to Washington, D.C., carrying the Okaloosa County flag and Veterans Day weekend of this year, which is fantastic. We have one more swag basket. Oh, yeah, do we actually too? Okay. So we have one more basket. Rochelle has, we had some of our chamber members wanted to just give some items, so I want to make certain that all of the participants do not leave yet. You'll hand that. Teddy, David, Danny, Mitzi, and David, thank you for being a judge, my friend. Jerry Williams, thanks for agreeing to sponsor this on behalf of Eglin Federal Credit Union. And now we have it. So all 14 people on the way out see Seth, our technical guy, just get a small bag of treats. Everybody, thanks for coming. Have a great night. We'll see you all next year here at the National Civics Bee.